Bum, 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 bum. Oh, Shannon, how are you doing, man? How's my day been so far? It's been good. It's been good. I haven't done loads, but we're gonna get on now for a good 10-hour stint. So we're gonna crack on. Um, yeah, we're working on the climbing system. That'll sort me out the animations. So I am working on some logic for ledge detection. But yeah. Hey Thomas, man, how you doing? Can you guys all hear me well? What's the sound like? Is the music good level? Is my voice a good level? How's it sound? Let me know. Sounds good, guys. What have you guys been up to anyway? I haven't streamed for a very long time. It's actually been ages since I've streamed. A very long time since I've streamed. So hopefully it's yeah. Just because a lot of stuff I've been doing. Yeah, so 0.09 should have all that. 0.09 should have climb ups, wall pops, some ledge shimmies, some reaches, some wall hops, just a general movement. A lot to do in terms of the climbing system, in terms of moving around, and general like movement on the wall. But I'm now just prototyping a bit of logic. It's not final logic, but just some basic logic. So how can we detect some ledges? There's a couple different ways I want to try. I'm trying one way at the moment, which might not even be the final way we go about doing it. But the way I'm trying now is just to see if we can, rather than tag objects in the world, if we can actually do some ray traces to actually find a good way to find an edge. I have a bit of an early day. I'll show you guys now. Ignore the animations. I don't have the animation set up or IK configured or any of that stuff. But yeah, I'm basically gonna get all the logic for where I want stuff to go, so that when I do have all the animations, I can just plug values, and then boom, it should all be nice and pretty. It's not gonna work like that. It's all gonna be broken, 100%, and I'm probably gonna have to redo it from scratch. But we get the gist. It's all about learning, so that the more you do it, you get better and you learn. Okay, this way works. This way doesn't really work. Okay, is this way optimal? Is this way too like memory intensive? Like, is there too many ray traces going on? Because at the moment I've got a lot going on in the tick function, which is wrong. But I'm doing that as well so I can see the traces constantly. Whereas really traces should be happening on events. Basically like a little principle. If you keep having traces on tick, it's called every frame, even though you don't need it. So like I'm having checks where it keeps checking something for no reason, even though I'm not going to be using it. So it's like just having a tick check when you don't need a tick check, basically. So instead you do an event, so it's only the trace only happens when you need the trace to happen, rather than each frame. But yeah, that's how re-architecture, whatever. So resetting. Levels contest. This is very broken, doesn't actually work, but general gist. Let's see. I'm doing it in blueprints because blueprints are really quick to prototype. So this is the general, just whatever crappy thing I've got so far. It's terrible, doesn't it? It's so crappy. If you come up here, I don't remember what. So we go up to the ledge. So ignore the weird animations. Like these animations are all gonna change to what? I've just put some weird animations in, so it moves around weirdly. So ignore it. It does animations, so I can see that it's transferring between states. So ignore that. But if you see basically the blue line, I do these sphere traces. I'll go wire trace out. So I do a load of these like capsule traces. I need to adjust the distances between because there's a lot of overlap on. So that's, again, you don't need that. You're doing more traces than you need, so all done. But here, you see here, we can pretty nicely. So if you see here, if the character can move left or right on the ledge, these yellow caps will pop up. If they can't, where the input direction is, see here, so I can be like left on the D's there, and I move left to right, and you see the character actually moves left to right depending on what I do, or goes to idle or whatever. Or I can, this is the sitting down, it represents a reach state, so the character will be reaching. So I can reach, and like you see here, like you can have different points on the ledge you can pop to. Here you can pop to this ledge here. Can also pop to the other side, but I'm gonna minimize the thickness of that so you can't do that. And then you also have a distance there which you can far you can go. So if I push left, it'll just start moving. If I do this, he doesn't move. So at this point now, you want to like do a trigger to hop. Oh. I don't even know what happened. So, but the traces actually work like weirdly well. Like if you see, like it actually works really nicely. So games like oh yeah, and for this one I do another. You can't actually see it here. Let me. I do another. Basically, I do a load of capsule traces from his head up. Because if anything's smaller, you want to not do a climb up. You want to do just a wall pop. Then it's head height. So, but anything above head height will do these traces. So if I stand here, to that, then here we can ledge grab to that point, do to that point there, whatever. And what I'm going to add today is a bit of a just a mechanic to. The ledge detection is actually pretty good, like weirdly. I'm going to add a bit of a mechanic to just give you an idea of where you're aiming. So let me explain a couple systems that exist and why I wanted to stay away from them. So like in like Assassin's Creed, I think Horizon Zero Dawn. They tag models, like tag items in the world. It's like annotations, or they annotate or whatever, like metadata for objects in the world. So they'll be like, this object is a ledge object. I'll see you later, Simon. Have a nice day. So like, yeah, this object is a ledge object. You can grab onto it, and it'll have. If you can grab onto a ledge object, find the whatever. I didn't really want to do that, because I think one thing that's different is like, we're not going to sculpt or how and where you can climb. Like, although the level, yeah, whatever. But if you can climb something, theoretically, if it looks like you can climb it, we want you to be able to climb it, and to give you more freedom over the map. So in that case, you can't rely on the modelers to make it climbable. You just make whatever world that looks cool, and it will make it so that if it can be climbed, it can. So in that case, it's like, that means the detection has to all just come in real time, runtime. It doesn't have to be like picking objects and tracing for objects. Instead, we just trace for surfaces that can be climbed. In that case, that's why I do so many more traces, rather than just one trace, find an object, climb to this point in the object, basically. But yeah. And if you go like, if I drop this down, and you run up to this here, you can like, so if you see here, you'll then hop to the top, and then if you're at the top, this is when you want to be doing a climb up or whatever thing you're doing. But yeah, that's how I'm setting it up so far. I'm gonna add now, just for my own peace of mind, so I don't have to have these traces visible all the time. Just something little, just to identify where you're going to. So another like design principle following is that I want to give the user more control, but also less control over, more control over where they're moving to, and make it more like directional and skill based. So in those climbing systems, you'll just like, if you push in a certain direction, they'll just detect the nearest obstacle to that direction, and then you'll just go to that obstacle. Whereas I was like, well, that just kind of defeats the whole purpose of like, there needs to be skill to climb it, because like in those games, there's no real skill to climb. You just hold RT and you're just climbing in a direction. Like, you just move towards the obstacle and it'll just move you there. Whereas I feel like with this, it's like, let's make climbing like, it's a movement like style more than anything. It's like, it's just like running and doing parkour bolts. It should be something that you learn, you get better at. There's a progression into it, like, and it can actually create a skill gap between players. So to do that, you need to actually make it so that we don't just move you to where you need to do. You need to aim correctly. So if I'm on the wall, let me show you. So if I'm on the wall here, rather than just holding it in this direction and it's saying, okay, what's the nearest ledge, jump to that ledge, you need to actually like aim it at that point there and be like, hop now. Do you know what I mean? Because then people will just be like this, hop, 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 hop. It's too easy. Whereas if you're like this, oh, so I got that right first time. But if you're off and you need to do this till you see the marker not on the top and on the thing, then you hop. That's how most people are going to be when they start. But as they get better, they'll have a better feel for how the hop is, and so they'll get quicker at. I mean, now I could pretty much, depending on where the obstacle, first time just flick to it. So you'll get quicker at doing that, and it's a bit more skill based, and the reach will change. So yeah, that was the reason for that. So I'm waffling anyway, but yeah, let's make something to just indicate where you're climbing to. I think I have. Yeah, I should do. Okay, let's do this. Just a load of shoes. I don't really want to spawn a new actor. Well, you kind of have to. We'd have to do some checks. I don't know if that's worth doing. I don't think it's hard to do. But I mean, basically, we'd have to just do it to check it, like if an actor exists, set the location rather than spawning you. And I guess we could do this. Some weird behaviors, man. Tethering. Yeah, no errors, that makes sense, bro. That's a weird tethering behavior I do not like. Why is it doing that? Is it just not handling walks? Shouldn't be, because the trace goes beyond that. I don't know why it's tethering like that. She wasn't doing that a minute ago, was it? What? It's a weird behavior. So I wasn't doing that. Okay, so it's the access problem that's what's causing it. Okay, okay, so you assume it's the spawning of the act. That is what's causing it. Very interesting. Very interesting. Yeah, bar swings are interesting. Bar swings are very interesting. It does make sense to be object based if we're honest. Thinking about it, I'm gonna just get rid of that. This is extra. Thinking about it, pretty, I don't know. It's an interesting one because there's a lot of different ways we can go about doing it. Like we could extend this, and rather than we then do more character traces, which is actually what I'm going to set up today. So feet and leg traces and stuff, so I know how he's behaving. So I'll show you. We'll do it now as we're going. So I'm going to do like a load of body traces to determine what kind of hang to do and like how you're hanging is the next thing for me to do. Because At the moment now, I actually have a system that is able to detect ledges fine. It can 100% be improved and will be changed, but it detects ledges just fine, and the point at which you can fly. So in that, when it just makes some traces, just get rid of them, just to make it a bit clearer for myself. So the only trace I need to see is the one, this impact trace. It's just this trace here, the traces down here. I don't need to see you, and I definitely don't need to see you. Oh. So I think that there's a couple different ways we can approach it. So there's a bit. I only want to see this last point. So So let me just get my debugs right, and then once my debugging is nice, resume talking about it. But yeah, I've got a couple ideas. So the first way is, like I said, what we're gonna do next is a lot of like body context. So we look at how the body is grabbing onto ledge. So by body context, it means like, are your feet colliding? What your body's doing, all these different things. That is a lot of context to how we can determine, are you in a swinging state? So if you're just hanging off something like this and your chest isn't colliding with anything or whatever, we should be swinging. Well, really, the detection, as long as it picks up, we'll see that. Let's just start. Because the detection will pick up any surface, and it's not based on normals, so it's just based on collision points. So it should, hopefully, yeah. So here we does actually do detection points. So like, as you see, it does actually pick it up. Now, one thing to remember is that a lot of this, again, we can scale how big the bars are, and we need to scale really the collision points, how big the traces are. But yeah, one thing it's really critical is also I can change how big the hitbox of that mesh object is. But yeah, see, it's not picking up there. Pick up there. So here, that's probably a case of we need more specific. So there, it picks up perfectly. But that's probably a case of we need smaller sphere traces so that it can collide with it more, because the sphere traces are quite big now. So that, yeah, that's probably a case of smaller sphere traces. Well, like I said, that's a refinement stage thing. And what we'll do is IK will be the grabbing thing. So once we're at our location, we'll do a load of traces based on IK to get it to like grab properly. So what's the high point? What is the curvature? All those different things, IK will achieve that perfect grab. So we can treat everything like a thing, and then we'll adjust it based with IK. But yeah, that's actually, I'm actually gonna keep that ledge there because I'm gonna come along and fix that in a bit. I just wanna have a bit of a nicer debug for myself. So you see, because the spheres are quite big, we can play around with that now actually. We don't want to rotate this thing. You seemingly can't rotate it, which is annoying. I don't know why you can't rotate it. Weirdly, you should be able to rotate it, no? But hey ho, what can you do? That's wrong as well. That's not right. You know, I think I'm just gonna keep the debug in. It's not as much of a hindrance as I thought. It's quite useful now until I have some better visual cues of where you want to jump to. Which again is something to consider looking at that. So it's like how much of an aid do we give someone in terms of where they jump to? Because without the debug, it's actually quite hard to know where you're aiming towards. So it might be a case of having to have some assistance in terms of directional assistance, which I think we need to have, like a sort of threshold where it helps you out. But yeah, let's just keep the debug for now because it doesn't really affect anything. It's quite useful. Okay. Let's look at setting up some more like body traces to just let's see if we can tweak with this. Yeah, why not? See, I mean, so yeah, you see the smaller trace helps find the spots under the thing more. And if we made it even like 3, this when you make it too small, though, you're gonna get gaps between each trace. So you need to increase the number of traces you do See how we have loads of gaps now between each trace because we made it too small. But yeah, but now you get more on that point of contact, basically. So now we have a little. But yeah, so it's about that fine balance. 5 was pretty good. 5 was pretty good. Again, it's got to be a case of what I think I probably will do is, it's difficult because if we're looking at adding some assistance in where you want to jump to, I don't know, it's weird because like you want to add assistance, but there's like a skill thing to aiming it. There is something that's quite like rewarding skill-wise when you're by aiming it. Like having to aim to this specific spot to jump to is quite like nice. But it's not too difficult. Like if I wanted to jump to this, it's pretty easy. Same with this. But to this little pole is quite hard. You have to like be precise. Which I don't know, kind of makes sense to me. You know, like that kind of makes sense to me. That's ridiculous. They shouldn't be able to do that. Which could be a case of just changing up the hitboxes and stuff. Okay, I don't mind that setting for now. I'll leave that as it is. Let us. I hope you keep all these dev tests in worlds in the final release. Hopefully you shouldn't be able to get underneath the map in the final release. We'll see. Yeah, let's do some body context traces just to determine like what your character's actually doing. Whether he should be like that with feet up, legs hanging, can he swing, things like that. And yeah, let's just determine all those stuff now. So let's be okay, let's us. I mean, I guess we just need to now do some traces from the socket location. Let's make some notes on what we're doing. Okay, let's. There will be loads of Easter eggs, don't worry about that. I will make sure there is a ton of Easter eggs. Be a ton of Easter eggs. I love Easter eggs. I think they're awesome. It shows they like developers taking time and effort. And I just think they're pretty cool, to be honest. So why not have loads of them? So I'm just trying to organize this better because when I move this to code, it's gonna be so much easier to know how and what to do. Okay, so let's look at some body context now. I guess the first thing when we're looking at the body context is, well, we know the hands are going to go to a specific point on the wall. Well, I guess there's different grips. I think the hand positioning will be totally determined within the IK module. So I don't know if I want to do that there. Same with the foot positioning. I think all I care about the character is the character needs to, like, where the hands are and the feet are will be done in IK. What I care here is just knowing what state to put the character in, depending on wherever. So is he in hanging? Is he in a wall, like, grab state? So really, we need to do traces from the feet to determine, can you hang? Can you do whatever? And not necessarily from the feet, but at some point in the capsule. So I guess you can hang. You're not gonna hang if your feet. There's a point on the wall where your feet can be at that level. So I guess you're looking at from. It's really from your mid section. Anything more than that should be a hanging. Because you're not gonna, if there's a wall ledge like by your chest, you're not gonna lean like it's too high. So from your pelvis. So we'll go from the pelvis. So from the pelvis below, you basically need to check if there's a wall. And if there is, we're gonna hop on that thing. So let's do a little check. Let's have a function. Hang type, hang state, trace. Okay, so let's hang state trace. So we'll do, I guess the check, we'll do multiple sphere traces. But the thing is, this is the thing again. So if we trace from the pelvis and keep going down, if we trace from the pelvis, we don't get a hit. Well, you could be like this. We'll have a gap in the middle, you know what I mean? Trace from the pelvis. Yeah, so let's trace from the pelvis down. If we don't get hit, then you know he's got to be hanging because there's nothing for him to put his foot on. Yeah, that makes sense. Okay, yeah, let's do that. Sphere trace. Well, really, I can use this same ledge trace. It's just interesting. So we're gonna get the mesh. Again, ignore the animations because they're gonna all change, and that's the animations are gonna impact the trace at the moment. But once we sort that all out, fine. So yeah, I mean, really, you want to trace from the pelvis. and then you want to add so there's going to be a lot of there's going to be a lot of gameplay elements that determine how you do stuff. So the type of climb up you do will be determined by how much stamina you have, your timing. So there's loads of things that we can add to make it so that how everything comes off is non-deterministic. In that meaning, you don't know the outcome every time. Little tip for those using Unreal that's new: when you have like before in UE4, if you wanted to like multiply by like a float, you do this, it'd be like times by float. But they got rid of it and just have a single utility operator multiply, which will give you this. And then you're like, I need to multiply this by float. What you need to do, right click it, you convert pin, and you can change it all the things to multiply. So, float. There you have your float. Just a little tip of the day. We'll just do a random number for now. Let's just do like 30. Just add that onto that. We'll do the end of this. We'll debug for duration, time 0, trace color. Let's do like a dark yellow. Trace hit color. We'll do like a dark pink or dark green even. Like a weird khaki. Whatever you want to call that to. Let's just see the trace, how it looks. Radius not 0, let's do like a radius of 10. And then vec graph, let's just do every frame. We'll just do a hang state trace. But we only want to do a hang state trace if we are climbing. We're going to add a load of more checks, like if we're climbing and we're idling, we should do hang state trace. All that stuff. Okay. But if we're climbing now, we'll do the hang state trace. Cool, so then you see our little capsule there, showing that point on the wall that it's hitting. You can't really see. Let me change the colors. They're very dark and dull. Good green on the main. That's a hit, man. Hit will go light blue. The trace will go bright yellow. So there, depending on where the actor's facing, ignore how the actor's facing too. It's messed up, but it only goes 30 forward. Because you can only, I mean, you can put your legs like this. You can be like, yeah, let's make it a bit longer forward. 30's a bit. Let's go like, I'll put meter forward. Let's go like 50. There you go. So you see that trace, position trace. Cool. Let's now. So we'll stay. We now need to do this basically a load of times going down to determine, is there some point there that he could put his feet on? Basically, is there something there that you can rest your foot on? Is there something in the wall where if you're hanging, you're going to put your foot on it? To support you. So we'll loop this. And again, I think there's better ways than these for loop, than doing these for loops. because obviously the complexity is different. Definitely think there's some better ways than this, but regardless. Anyway, so the first index. Again, we want to set up some variables, but I've got a lot of variables set up right now. Because blueprints make it. That's why I don't like blueprint. I don't mind it, but the way it's organized is very like in code. These variables don't look as like thing because they're just lines. But in this, there's so much color and words all mashed up in a single thing, so it looks a lot more daunting, a lot more messy. Really. Let's. We should make a variable, really. Should make a variable. I mean, we need one minimum, so that's going to be leg, rest. Say hang, trace, offset. So basically, this is the offset that's gonna be between each trace, and this is gonna be like just like 10. Just like 10. Yeah. Now, so this is the offset between each trace. What we then want to do is multiply this by the index. And I'm going to add this to the start location here. So hold on. So wait, you want to add it to the Z value, so we'll move up and down, but we're moving it down, so this needs to be a negative value, so it needs to be really minus 10 because you want to move it down a load. And then you want to add it to the Z. The actual good way to do it, the proper way, is to get the actor up vector, and then we're going to multiply this by this float, and then we're going to add this to that. So what this does is which way is up and down, multiply that much, then you're going to add it to that, so you're going to move it up and down in the relative to active vector rather than just the Z value. So this will determine the starting point for each one. So this will go to start, and then the end point will do that and to add. So that is how you should do. Yo, Evan, how are you, man? Or lady, man, girl, and them. How are you? So we start with 0, and if we do 5 is the index. So basically where this works, each loop will go 0 times by the offset 10, so 0 times by the activator 0 plus 0 location is start of the pelvis. Then the next one will go 1 index times that is 10, up vector, that'll move it up whatever thing by 10, add that, that'll move it up or down by. And that point is the start. So you get how it does it. So if you ever want to do, just quickly throw together some like multiple traces in different directions, you have this kind of format. You take an offset, times by that, whatever vector direction you want to then move that in, that's it. So yeah, so I mean, let's just see how this looks. So you see the load different traces in the actor vector, the actor rotation. So you see now. So what we want to see now is if there's a blocking hit. So that means one of these traces hits a wall. We want to say, yay, we have a thing, we have a hit, blah blah blah. True. We just break the if loop because we don't need to do any more. Like, we're just basically saying, what's the first point at which you can make contact with the wall that is in a reasonable position, and you're going to start from higher up because it gives you a better leverage. You're not going to be, you're going to minimize your hang basically. So you just have to get the first point from the pelvis going down. Boom. We can, from the pelvis is something we can put on. Boom. If there's anything below, anything below, anything below. If not, we should be hanging at this point in time. So yeah, if there is that, I'm gonna break it. Actually, before we do that, quickly just add a sequence node here, sorry. And then we'll do this. And then we'll add a return node, and then we'll have some outputs. And then we'll go hang this location. Oh, no. Is so, okay, so we want to basically say, is it or is it not hanging? But I rather, because so logically that makes sense, fine, but it doesn't, it's not a good way to structure it like logically as well, because like our trace is determining whether or not we have something to put our foot on, not if we don't have something to put our foot on. Does that make sense? Because of how what we're testing to be true and false. So if there is something to, we return true on this basically. So it shouldn't be is hanging, it should be is has foot hold, basically. So has foot hold, and then we say location, and then we say the location. And I mean we can still return the normal as well, because why not? And then if it doesn't, so now, when we go to our lovely hop-up thing, F1, it should only be one. Nice. So now if we augment the wall, so let's take it over here. We raise this up. Take that. Play. We'll hop up there. Ah, yeah. It's because of how the animation moves the thing. Yeah. Okay, let's just drop this down. Yeah, the animation is moving it too like far up. What I'm gonna do, just to test that it is doing what I want it to do, because then it should do the rest of the traces. I'm gonna start the initial one, not from 0, but from 50 below, and then go down to 100. Oh, 50, whoa, no. 5 below, and then go down to 10. So start from half a mil below. Just for this, because of how the animation is impacting the trace. There you go. So you see now it starts below. We've not hit anything, so it's doing all the traces, and then this therefore is going to return a false state when we do this. And then we see let's do print string. Can has foot hold duration 0. So it doesn't have foot, see? So there it does, because it has something to put foot on. But here it doesn't. So yeah, nice. And you see the traces increase and decrease depending on how we're moving and whatnot. So yeah. Nice. So that works just fine. So now we're saying I will add a variable just to be like has foot. Has foot hold. Make it a boolean just to set this so we can access that anywhere else in case we need it. Don't make it a wall right now, but in case we need it later in here. All that. And so now we'll say let's do a branch statement in there. If there is a foothold on there, we're just going to do a print string rather than have the print string here. Oh, mother. No, you can get rid of this for now. So if there is a foothold, so if there is a foothold, we're going to say, what would you want to call this little spider grab, wall grab. Let's say player is wall grab it. Spider-Man. If not, there is no foothold. We'll print player is hanging, and rather than Spider-Man, let's actually put proper debug. We'll say player is wall grabbing. So it should now, if I come up to here, be like player is wall grabbing, is hanging. Go, player is hanging. And then if I go up to here, should be player is wall grabbing. There you go. So now we can distinguish between whether or not he's hanging or whether or not he's wall grabbing. And then if I have another one of these, like here, we should, depending on how big the trace is, yeah, player's wall grabbing because we'll put my feet on the little ledge. There we go. Nice. Get rid of you for now. Yeah, nice. Cool. And then we can now determine like if the player is hanging or not. And then what I'll probably have an enum is like climb hang state. Is we either have wall grab or hanging. And then we switch between in here. It can either be so we need like so he'll go to wall hanging, but he'll go from wall hang to hanging, basically. So we need, this is interesting actually, very interesting. So we have this wall hang state. We'd also need a hanging state. And we can transition to either of these. So we jump up to the wall, but it will depend on what kind of jump we do. Because one will either be like jump with like your feet up to the wall, or it'll just be a pop up. So interesting. We have to think about it. So you can either hop up and hang, or you can like a running jump up and hang. We can have the two different types. That will need to be. That's interesting. That is interesting. That's very interesting. So that'll all need to be done previously, so that we go to either, because hanging is going to be almost a completely different movement system to wall. The reaches, the jumps, they're all going to be completely different. Do we segment that? Nah, I don't want to split it up into a new thing. I think we could just be like, if he's going to be hanging, but it wouldn't be a jump to climb, it would be a jump to hang. Okay, I think rather than jump to climb, so to jump to ledge. Ledge, climb up? No, ledge climb. No, because that's not the right word. I say begin climb. Begin climb. Now we either do that if it's animate. We go to there. What we can actually do here is we blend poses by ball, depending on what state we're in. If we're hanging, we're going to do one animation. If it's going to be a hang, so this again, the thing we jump up to will need to determine what we do here, and then that will then, based on that will determine what transition you then take. So our initial ledge climb, this check for ledge, needs to somehow take into account that. Interesting. Very interesting. Okay. That makes sense. Yeah, because it can never be taken. I mean, the hang to check if we actually are hanging, because we want to be able to transition between these two still, and back if we're hanging or not. Like if we move to something where we have something we can put our feet on, we can transition between hang and wall hang. the entry into those states, like I said, needs to be determined by the entry to those states needs to be determined by the actual initial trace. We need to basically check as we go up to the wall. Like I find that point, but all those points up to there aren't useless because they're going to tell us, do we have collisions where we can hang our feet to that point? It's a pretty much similar trace. Or we might just need to do. Because check for ledge, I like shoot forward loads. So we also need to check, when we do the check for ledge, we also need to do a check for climb. Then check the type of jump it's going to be. So what ledge am I going to, and how am I going to, what kind of jump am I going to get to there? They're two different traces. One checks where the ledge is, the other one checks what kind of jump I'm going to do to get to that point. Okay, and it's either going to be a jump to hang or jump to wall. Yeah. Okay, so we detect the ledge that we want to go to, and then after we do this detecting the ledge we want to go to, we need to detect how we're going to get there, basically. So this, what ledge are we jumping to? And now we need to say, how are we going to get to that ledge? How to trace this, Jesus. It's definitely the most efficient way to do it. We definitely merge a load of these traces. And again, this is why I'm saying it's going to be iterated, because a certain load of these traces can be merged together. But for now, I'm just going to do loads of different ones. Once we've got it working, you can start to see what traces merge. While we prototype, it can be messy. Okay. So let's do the exact same thing that we do for the hang state trace. Because basically we need to do a load of traces that are like up the wall. So to say that we have a wall that we can actually run up on. But this is even more interesting, actually. Hold on. Because it all depends on where you want to put your feet. That's the interesting thing. I think for now, because that's an extension, because it'd be like, you can have holes in the wall as long as you have marks at this point. But I think for now, let's just do it so we have a flat surface to run up on, rather than bits. Yeah, let's just do that. It's going to pretty much be the same thing. Again, I definitely think those that hang trace and this we can merge, like 100%. Latia, how are you, man? No, girl, how are you doing? My day's alright. It's a nice day. The sun is shining. The weather is nice. I'm alive and breathing. Can't complain too much. How's your day going so far? Alright, I'll be right back. I've got something I do. I'll be back in like 5 10 minutes. Yeah, mute the whole time. So no one can actually hear me. Probably was. That's so weird. If I was muted, I was just talking. You guys wouldn't even understand the context of anything I'm saying. I would have been. You just saw me get my guitar for no reason. There's like a reason I did it. Now I just look stupid. Okay. Let's do this. Capsule. Yes. That's what we need. And we want to trace down. Wait, hold on. Start point, however. We're not starting from lower. So get that location. Let's just. Just trace like 50. Minus that. That's going to be the start location. Yeah. So. We'll do. Basically. We can do this in the check for ledge, you know. But nah, whatever, we'll do this also. Yeah, then we'll say no, it's not gonna be has foothold. Then we say if at any point then we're just gonna say if at any point it doesn't collide with something. Yeah, so if we don't get a collision. So if we don't get a collision, we're gonna break it. So basically we're saying now, if we don't collide with something, we're gonna go to hang. Otherwise we're gonna go to not hang. So if we don't get a collision, so it doesn't collide, as it should. If it does collide, then we're gonna set this not to hash foothold is jump can run up. It's just a true or false. This one is true. If it's not, turn cannot run walls. And then we'll say here, check prime up type. And we say if we can run up the wall, no, not function. Damn it. Does this we say climb up type. Wall runner. We say Boolean wall run up. If it can run up wall, we're going to set wall run up to true. Oh no, it really doesn't matter. That doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Regardless, wall run up is going to get set to this. If it can't do it, wall run up is going to be false. Now let's do a print string. Print string this. And we print string this. And then because we didn't move the version and set its climate to true, so we say, can you do the wall run up? Yes or no. And that's fine, we just need to set wall run up to true or false. And then we go to the moving location. Let's actually have a duration of 5 seconds. Hey Noma, how you doing? Failed to compile national. Care about that. I don't care about national team level. What? What is? I don't care about no national theatre level. I don't care if we can't compile that. Oh, don't be. What is wrong with this game thing today? What? Don't annoy me. Don't annoy me. Don't annoy me now today, okay? Why are you doing this to me now? I'm not even using this level blueprint. Yeah, it's making me edit. Someone explain it. It's not taking me to that level. So why are you making me? Oh. Cannot connect pins. Time trial time. Like what? Oh my goodness! Why am I doing this? Why can't you just do that? I mean, it seems like such a. Mic's off. Is it? Is my mic off, or can you hear me? Or am I bugging? Or am I just being quiet? Can you hear me? Testing, testing. 1, 2, 3. Test for me. Still with YouTube, the response time is very slow. Can you hear me now? Yes, you can. There you go. Sweet. That's this. That. Wall run up is equal to false. You should be able to hear me. Let me see if I can hear myself. scenes. Testing, testing. 1, 2, 3. Testing, testing. Should be able to see myself. Testing. Yeah, I can hear myself. Testing, testing. I'm so confused. Okay, maybe it was my thing. So it's not. So let's see here. Trace isn't long enough. That is why. Yeah, wall run up is true. Yay. Nice, nice, nice. Play piano. Play piano C. And if I do it over here, it should be false. Yes, it is false indeed. Well, would you look at that? Would you look at that? We've got it up there. Nice. So now we know whether or not we want to do a wall run up or not. And then we move to a position. Now we say here, begin climb. So we set is climbing is true. So then we do this. Climbing. Begin climb. And then we're we need a variable first. It's like wall run up. True or false. I'm going to use enumerators instead of these booleans because they're quite complicated to like. Oh. To like understand and debug because it's like true false for the thing rather than just saying like run up, hop or whatever. Reroute node. Say. Get wall run up. Set wall run up to that. Cool. So we set wall run up to that, and then in here, in this, we do a blend poses. They even moved around this thing. I don't. Oh, I don't know. So if it's true, we're gonna do a wall run up. We're just gonna play a random animation. Just gonna play the animation wherever. And then so we transition when that's done. And wall run up. Oh, and wall run up is true. We can transition to that. And it's a wall run up. We transition to this. and it's not. It's not a wall run up. So if it's not a wall run up, it should just go to a weird little idle. If it is, it should go back to the normal hang. So let's check it out. Let's see what we're cooking with. Very nice. And if it is a wall run up, should just go to the nice little idle. We should be able to do all our reaches and stuff. There you go. Oh yeah, it did the stupid. Don't do it. Ignore the position of him. Just ignore that. Okay. That actually works. I'm quite surprised that, yeah, that works. It's not the most, but yeah, we'll just do one trace really, and then we're gonna comment this and be like, wall climb up, wall climb. To determine what type of wall climb we do. And then we also have whether or not we're hanging and that in. So we also do the additional check to see if we're hanging or not, so that we can transition between, in here, we can transition between wall hang, well, not really, but like, yeah, between wall hang and hanging and wall hang. And the reason I say transition between them two is because the movement states, because if we're in this, if we're hanging and then we go to move, we'll move away. But we just need a transition between these two, because it'll always go to this at some point. So then if we're not hanging, if we're hanging, we'll go to there, go off. If we're not hanging anymore, we'll go to there. No, we need to be able to transition from any point to the opposite one's motion, depending on whether or not the foot. So if we're going along a ledge and then all of a sudden feet stop going, we should just be able to then transition to hopping. So you're good. How are you? I'm good, Noma. Yeah, busy. So busy last 2 months of my masters. So thesis is heating up, group projects heating up, everything's heating up. This is heating up. It's all just heating up, so I'm very swamped. But yeah, just cracking on really. I've realized that just this last year, I have not had a social life. Like it just hasn't existed. Like it's funny, but I don't even miss it. That's the weird thing. I thought I would, but I've been so involved and into this job, especially, and my degree less so, just because I enjoyed my job, not my degree like that. Because I feel like I've learned all I can from my degree. I think I'm at the point now where, for me to get better, I need to work on stuff like this. But yeah, yeah, I'm good. How's your PhD coming? How long do you have left on that journey? Do you know the thing is, I'm full time now. Like, I work too many hours to not be full time right now. But yeah, I'll be full time. So like, if I'm full time now, I'll be full time. So basically, when I say full time, I'll never not be working on this game. But yeah, I'll also just have more mental energy for it. Because it's easy to get burnt out with it. So like, it's like during the day I'll work on SPP, or I'll work late at night on SPP, and in between I'll be working in uni. So like when it comes, sometimes I'm mentally drained. so I'm not as efficient as I could be. So when that's done, I just see myself working on this unhealthy amount. I see myself doing this like 14, 15 hours a day. Like, but just because I enjoy it, like it's a lot of fun. It's so mentally stimulating. Like this is like a pastime for me. It's like a hobby. It's just cool, isn't it? Which how I feel like any job should be. Well, you're lucky if you get that. Obviously, can't always be the case, but I'm lucky. Yeah, let us. My payment ends. It's a rubbish work to pay my way my sticky. I feel you, man. I feel you, man. That's tough though, yeah. The payment ends and it's never easy. And we, us students, you know, we're getting a bit charged a bit more, aren't we? Student finance and that. It's crazy. So my rent comes out in like 3 days. My student finance doesn't drop, and they're just like, you should have a $2,000 lying around. I'm like, oh. I did. Till I paid it to you. But, almost there, man. We're both on the home stretch. You especially. Can't imagine. Okay, so, I mean, we now know if we're hanging, we now know if we're doing the wall thing. Cool. Let us... Just setting up the anim stuff, that's easy. Let me finish doing the logic. I'm going to check this in, just because such a meta point. That's wrong. This is wrong. Let me tell you why this is wrong. Reason why this is wrong is I'm checking this. Yeah. This is all wrong. The foothold thing. No, but I guess it could be like this. Because really the foothold is like this. It's just a single capsule, not like that. Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. Basically I was saying, yeah, I'll just tell Guns or whoever's making this map not to make any weird little architecture. But this is gonna have to change. Because I'll tell you why it's gonna have to change. We'll have to change because it needs to check like your individual feet. Not just from, because I'm tracing from the pelvis. I need to trace from both feet so that it checks are both feet have a place to be on the wall. Because if one foot doesn't, then we need to move it. But then I'm also like, can there just be a singular point? Because we'll just IK it, you know? But I'll know better about this when I do the IK. I think this will change with IK. IK will determine whether or not this says I need to do traces from the feet rather than from the thing to really determine if there is a thing. But for now, just for general logic, we should really do 2 traces and be like, is there some way here from this at all? Yeah. Okay, that's cool. That is fine. Let's now. Let's check this in. Let's check this in because Yeah, this is for climb ups and just climbing in general. So what we've done there is just some context, some traces to determine the context of the hang, like how we hang it. And we can switch between the big hang or the flat hang, depending on the very long and hard part will come when we do the actual animation stuff, deciding how to blend the real animation to it, because the logic in terms of what to do is quite simple. How are you, Crow Circle? I've drank so much and I really need to get to it. While this builds, I'll be alright. I'll pop to it. Okay. So I think let's keep going on the context stuff. So what else now we need to? Let me get my note. So climbing context. What else do we need to? So we've got hop ledge detection. Got that. We've got left plus right section. We've got climb up type section. So whether or not we're climbing up, running up the wall, we're hopping to a hang. Or it's like, yeah, we're gonna go to a hang. And we've got, yes, that's what we have. Oh, we have foothold checks. So we check, have we got, is there a wall in front of us that we can do a foothold on, basically? That's what we're checking. And now, okay, so we've got a hop ledge, move left and right, climb up type and foothold checks. Now, let us see. What else can we detect now? I guess really, ooh, that's gonna be a long, that'll be a tough one. Turning of corners. That's an interesting one. Corner turnings. We do that, so we need, so this is to do list. My logic to do list. Turning corners. Turning corners. Yeah. Turning corners. Turning corners. And trying to think what other body contact stuff we can have. Because we can do a hop the thing and then we do a climb up themselves. I guess we then also do like the climb, like the finishing, I don't know, the final climb up. I'm gonna change climb, I'm gonna say run up type, and then we say climb up trace. You're right, Cole, how are you? Been a while. I'm good, man. How are you? How's the family? How's Easter? Hope all is well. Everyone's nice and healthy. So I think 2 more we got to do. If we can tackle that today, it'd be good. The first one we'll do a climb of trace. And that's basically all we're gonna do is trace to see if we can actually, from wherever surface we're on, can we actually climb onto it? Then as well, once we're on that surface, we're then going to look at ledge shimmy traces. So that is more, once we've climbed up to something, are we at a point where there's a wall right there, or is it general locomotion from that point onwards? But I think the shimmy traces as well, I think that extends beyond the climbing system. I think that's a general locomotion thing, because if we're moving on to something that has a fall off and is a wall, we should be in shimmy. So shimmy traces, I want to put extensions. We'll do shimmy traces. So the shimmy traces will be an extent. All is good, family good, chocolate was consumed. I like it, love that. Okay, so what we've done so far, we've got our hop ledge detection. All this is basically early thingy, doesn't really work. So you got our hop ledge detection. So ignore the animation being played. Animations are all a bit wild. I'm just using it for the logic. Just focus on that point now. So we can move to different things. Nice. Oh lord. Okay, we've got our ledge detection. Let me change this animation. I didn't choose the best one. This isn't right, actually, because I'll tell you why this is right. Because it's not transitioning to any of these states here. But it is. It's in this state here. Can't move on ledge. Because it is in this Warhammer state. It's not doing it. Interesting. Interesting. So it does go to this. So I mean, if I change this, let me just see timing. Just to make sure I'm in this state. The state transitions are weird if that is the case. Yeah, so no, it's not. So it's not doing this. I'm seeing that. Oh, I see. So when it's true, it doesn't transition across. Ah, that's why. Time remaining. Should. There we go. Okay, cool. So we've got our hop ledge section, and then we've got our left and right move on the ledge. Yep, right, left, whatever. Then we have our run up type. We just check that, yeah, and then we have a foothold checks. So let's see here. There is wall grabbing. Cool. Okay, so yeah, so we have those four. Nice. So tick, 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 tick. Now we'll do turning corners and then climb up trace. Let's do the final climb up trace first. We'll do so a lot of this is going to change, I anticipate. It's nice to have just logical, just different things we could do so that when we come to do it, I've actually got an idea of how I'm doing stuff. But this will all change because a lot of this, like 3-4 of these, can be encapsulated in the other functions. Yeah, a lot of this will change, I anticipate. But just want to get a sense of the behavior. Okay, let's do. We now basically need to determine when we press B, just for now, face button right. That was initially hop. We're going to make it to be like the final climb up. When we press B, this gamepad face button, I want to check a couple things. If the surface at the point it wants to climb up to, if it actually is able to. So, is there enough space for the person to stand up? If there is, then you can climb up. So let's take the view. This is climb up. This is run up. We'll get rid of this if it's reaching. So we're going to say we have a branch. We'll have a branch, and we'll say if it's climbing, so it's a climbing state. If we're climbing, so in the climbing state, we now want to check. We want to do a trace. Check. Can climb up. Hands climb up, we're going to do a couple things. We are going to, we're going to get location of this. And now we need to do a trace of the capsule down in the air. No, not even. We just need to trace the capsule to see if it hits anything, so that the player can stand on. But from that point up, yes, let's do capsule place channel, and then we'll start at the location, and then we'll end at the. Oh, hold on a minute. Hold on a minute. There's a problem here. Get radius. This is gonna just hit the point at which it starts. Radius and half height. I know already that this is gonna hit the It's just going to hit the point at which I'm the active location. I think I'm going to have to move it up a little bit to be like, it's got to have room to pop up. So let's see. Yes. Shift up 10 a little bit. Oh no. Oh, that's wrong. That's wrong. That's very wrong. That's not right. That isn't right. Because we're not tracing the this is just tracing the capsule from where it is, which is gonna be there up 10, but it's just gonna hit again because the capsule is hanging. We need it to be tracing the capsule's future position. So we don't want the world location. We want the ledge. Yeah. So we want the ledge location plus 10. That's going to be start. And then the end. Just see. I think it's a good right. I'm curious to see how this looks. See, this is 0, 0, and it's a no-no for me. Because ledge location. Oh, it's this. Stop. Saying ledge location was 10, but this is the ledge plus 100. There you go, like this. But the 100 value needs to be Yeah, but the 100 value needs to be an actual thing. So it needs to be this. That's how far it needs to be over small patches. Something like that. There we go, like that. There you go. So that's from that point there. So now that's fine. Let's create another wall. Okay, let's see here. Yeah, it's colliding because it's hitting that thing there. And then I want to add this, and I want to add a little another offset. It's like 10. Just another little offset, just to be like. Oh! So now it's not doing it. So we had a look. That 10 was just like, was basically, it's this little offset that we have to basically say the little tiny bit of room you need to. So the trace, I'm doing it from the point, and I got the radius, so that basically wherever the ledge location was, I then did the whole capsule length trace from that point. But the problem is, if you do that, it's always just going to collide at that point, like no matter what you do. So you can't do that. So instead, what you do is we're just going to raise it a little bit to account for the offset you need to spring up, to be like, to account for that little offset. So we're ignoring this surface. It can even just be like, I mean, really, it could just even be 1, I believe. It doesn't even need to be 10. But I'm going to raise it by 10 to account for the shoe. Like 5, whatever, to account for this. Like, if I do this now, yeah, so raising it by 1 to get rid of that point that you would do. But although I feel like there should be a setting to be like, and I think that is this. If there's an overlaying here or something. Chick kick ass, just subscribe. Thank you. Welcome to the SPP family. Yeah. That really should be the size of the shoe, because we're gonna do both. We're not getting rid of both of them. But yeah, no, that is. So that at this point here, there's no collision. So we're gonna return. We just need to do one trace as well, just a single, 1 second. And then we're gonna return. That's just gonna be Boolean. Hit you. Just gonna quick print string. So it needs to be not this, sorry, because if it's not hitting, they can climb. So there you go. Same thing again. Doesn't hit. Nope, they can't climb up. They can climb up. Happy days. Let's take off of that. Climb up first. Cool. That works surprisingly well. Again, these all need to be parameters. Like everything here needs to be parameterized. There needs to be specific variables that change depending on gameplay stuff and stuff like that. So, but now I'm putting values because I'm prototyping. So that's why obviously we do this. But when I go to code, all this will need to be actual like set parameters. Because this is awful. This is way too expensive. Just wouldn't do it. Let's see here. So let's make a little note on this. Determine player. Yeah, so this will help to per car. So let's go through our list again. See if we do it once. So here we now check in, can they climb up? So we got up here. We're in that position. Bear in mind everything will be shifted, IK, all that kind of climb up. Then we press B. The player can climb up, it's true. So yeah. And then if we come back here, let's do a little change around here. Do it like here. We've got something in the way here, like this, that's gonna say you can't climb up to a ledge there. There's a massive block in there. Do that trace, jump up there, can't climb up. Nice. But then if we move this block completely out of the way, we go again. We hop up on there. Can they climb up? Yep. So, cool. So that is checked off. Now, another interesting piece of logic, turning corners. So we've got a lot of interesting traces. So now corner turning, again, I think should just be one of those things that's done by movement. So jumping between, so if we go through here. So if we go here, jumping between these gaps here, we're done by, I set up my own ledge detection to try and find a point on the ledge in which we could jump to. So you can see here, the little pole thing, we've got different points in which we can jump to. But whenever we're on just the general thing here, this, you would never hop straight to there. You'd first move across and then hop to minimize the distance you need to move. So here we are talking about just general moving left and right. So we need to get to basically check when we get to a point in which we can't move right anymore. We need to now do a check if the movement is still in that direction, because now we go to a reach. If we can't move right anymore, we just go to reach. So let me see if I can try and do this. So here, so I can move left, but I can't move right, and I'm just reaching now. So we need to now say basically in our check, can I move if I turn around the corner, basically? So not only do I need to check left in the ledge movement? Do I need to check left and right? I need to also check left and then down. So I need to check round any possible corners. And if so, do a little move around the corner. Ignore. Didn't see that. You guys didn't see that. So yeah, let's do that now. Let's do that now. Let's think about how we can do this. So I'm gonna draw. I like drawing it down. So let's think about how we can do this. So, a couple things we can do. Numerate we know we can do. We can basically say, okay, we're at an edge, hypothetically, because the way so this is interesting. The way my movement thing works is you need to have a certain amount of ledge to be able to, you're going to move from. So I think the gap now is 50. Again, this is going to be parameters that depend on a lot of stuff. So the gap right now is like half a meter or something. You need some certain amount of room. So here, there needs to be a minimum amount of room for you to actually make it so that you move them. If you don't have that, so here he can move right. Now, when he reaches that point where he's moved right, we need now to check. If you can't move right, we need to check, okay, you're at an edge. Is there a point forward tracing wise that you can move around? But it also needs to be a case, it has to be directly, the move around has to be like close, not like, so let me try and draw it. So you have your man on the wall here. He's on his wall. He moves along to the edge, so he's there. That's really not to explain. Okay, so let's go in here. Let's do it in this. So I'm actually going to create a wall specifically for this. Let's So we're here, and I was saying, basically, what I'm saying is when I'm at this edge point here, I want to check, can I move to this point here? But I'll only do that because I'll come to this edge point. Hold on, let me see this. So I'll come to this edge point here, hop up. Now, if I move right, you see the yellow thing there. There's no wall for me to move to, just directly left. Now I need to say, okay, well, not from that point, but this is what's weird. From the nearest edge, go round, can you move it? Or we go a certain distance out, trace forward, is there a hit? That's what I think. Or we go out across and then trace in to see if there's hit the edges. So we basically need to do the same ledge detection, but the point at where we're coming from, that's what we need to figure out. So like, are we coming from an angle of we're going like this to see if we've got an edge, then, or are we gonna be like go out and then trace across this way, or trace across that way to see if we've got an edge, which I think is the way. I think we go out to that 50 point. We go out to this point here, and then we trace back in their way and this way to see if we've got a hit with an offset of something. So the trace will start from like a bit to the right and a bit to the left to see if we actually have something tangible to grab onto to move around. So the trace will start like 50 on the right of that, 50 to the left of this point, and see, do we have something tangible to grab onto as we come around? So to do that, let's see. So I'm waffling, but I'm also trying to figure this out in my head. Where's all my... Okay, this is actually going to be in the ledge movement trace, because this move checked if you can move left or right, or if you can move on the ledge, and then takes the direction of your move. It's a bit more complex because the direction of your input isn't necessarily going to determine where you move, which is how it's done initially. It's more so going to be like, it will do once you're back on the normal ledge move, but the ledge turn is purely dependent on what obstacles in your way. So we're going to separate them for now. Or we only do the ledge turn if there's a point at which it doesn't hit. So let's check this. Ledge turn trace. Okay, and so let's do the same on this ledge move trace. Let's do the same trace basically, which is get the out vector, world indication, oh yeah, sorry, yeah, because I used the directional vector. Yeah, sorry, I'm an idiot. So we use directional vector times 150, so whichever way it's going, plus that point there. Yeah, so we add the directional vector to the normal vector component, so it moves it right or left dependent, and then we add up and down to that point, so we start up and trace down. Okay, so really we just need to get this. So we do need a directional vector. Okay, yeah, we will need a direction vector. Direction. Okay, so like I do in here, let's get the capsule. Get world location. Let's get the location of the capsule component. And then yeah, we're gonna multiply this. No. Sorry, I'm skipping. We're gonna multiply this by however out we want the trace to be. Yeah. Oh, this is interesting actually. It's interesting as well because we want to do two types of traces. We want to do a trace if it's when we trace behind us, we want to trace in going out. When we trace in front of us, we want to trace out going in. Because if we're moving this, like, I think I'm moving like this. Like, if I'm moving like this, if I'm moving towards here, I want to trace like that, not like this, because it's going to hit. I need to trace like this. If I'm moving around that way, I need to trace like that, because that's how the walls come. Okay, so let's just play around, see what happens. So let's multiply this by so that has no hit. So we're at an edge, that has no hit. Yeah. We're at an edge that has no collision. Okay, then we want to move this way. Alright, so vertical to float 50. Yeah. Okay, cool. So we want to first do a trace forward. So we'll do trace forward. Yeah. Yeah, so there it goes. Let's trace forward. Um, okay, okay, so a couple things we need now from this loop. We need to basically, depending how far up, let's just say 10, 50, so 0 to 5, we need this index multiplied by an offset. So this index is going to be multiplied by an offset from that point to that point. We need this index to be multiplied by an offset to move it forward. So by 10 is an offset, just for that. And then we want that to be times this. Let's get the actor forward vector. Multiply this like this. So that's how much we move forward each time. Okay. Forward, yeah. Okay. And then we want to, so moving this trace forward, now we want to take it from this point out and in. So multiply this by that. So we take it out 50 so it's at that point there that we can't move to, and then we trace from that point. Trace. Yeah. So we take it out 50. Sorry, just in my head, I'm just doing it. Yeah, we take it out 50. Then we multiply this. We then move it forward however much we want to per loop of this initial loop. No, sorry, not multiply. Add. We add that directional vector to this. Yes. Add the directional vector, so that's 50 in whatever direction. Daylight position, add that. That's our new point. Then we want to add the forward vector, whatever it is, times by 10, to that point as well. We want to add them too. Then, so we have our new point moved forward, however, whatever, that will change. Now we need to get from behind it and trace forward. No, we just need to trace forward, don't we? Because it doesn't matter if it's like this, because we're going out 50, because we know the minimum distance out is going to be 50, because that means it's off the wall. So we then go 50 out. So that will be our start location. So then our new end location needs to come in. So we need to get to right vector. No. That's wrong. It's not the actor right vector. It's the opposite direction of where we're moving to. Because if we're moving this way, we want to check of the walls in that way. So we take our direction. Yeah. Then we're going to trace back however far. Yeah, I guess so. But can I not just trace back to that point? To the... Okay. Very messy right now, but let me just. Okay, so we then trace back to that point. And this is ledge triangles. Oh, sorry, here. So here, if the player cannot move on the ledge, if the player can't move on the ledge, we'll do the ledge turn trace. Let's see here. Let's just check something. Let's just check this out. Awesome. See you later, Gold Day, man. Yes, this is that's it. That is actually it. That's it. That's it. Yeah. So if the player can't move the ledge, yeah, we do this ledge turn trace, and that actually did it, weirdly enough, and because it traced forward. It traced back to the point and moved it forward, so you can't. So yeah, you see there. So let's do that again. So let's change the radius of this to 5. So we just go. Yeah. Okay. And now all we need to do is just account for the fact that we need an offset from the start that we go around the corner to see. So the offset will be, let's just say like 5. Let's go 5 and then 10. Or like something like that. Or really, we should even do it where we check that there is something, yeah, like here. Okay, so now we're seeing in this trace that, oh, there is a ledge there to move to. Do you see what I mean? We're now checking that it's got way too much I'm doing filtration. Save this, so let's go again. So yeah, now we're just checking that if there is actually a ledge there to move to. So yeah, so then it goes like this, and we do our trace left and right. Does it have a ledge that it can actually move to around the corner? Or is there something around it? Again, we need to sort of like an edge case would be there's a gap here, like a thin wall, and then you have another thin wall there. So really you need to be doing a trace across like this. Sorry. No, but it can go around and be like this. That's the thing. Like we could move it around the corner and have it like this. So that doesn't really matter. We just need to now say, okay, so we do that trace. Now we just need to do a line trace down to just say that it actually is a flat edge, and not because if I had this as a wall, So if I had this as a wall, it would still return a hit, even though that's not actually a ledge in which you can move on. Does that make sense? So if I had it like this, you need to be right on the edge. So yeah, like this, that would return a hit, but it's wrong. It shouldn't hit because you need an actual ledge to be able to move on. So let's see. Now we just need to do another trace down from that point, which is this. Which I mean is pretty easy to do actually. So we just do another sphere trace. Sorry, so first we check branch if return value. If if this trace collides with something, just want to check one thing, if that to make sure that trace is starting from that point out correctly. It's a weird. Oh, it's because the actor forward look just messed up. Okay, it is. Yeah, it's starting from that point out. Perfect. So we now want to say, okay, so if it is hitting, if it is colliding, let's do another trace down just to make sure it's a surface that we can actually climb on. So let's just break this hit today. May as well use this here. If that is hitting something, that's like 20. So we start 20 up and we trace down to the impact point. So we start from here, and we trace down to the impact point. We trace down to the impact point. Yeah. Start there, we trace down to the impact point. So then we go here. Oh, there you go, nice. And you see branch. So we're going to say if it's hitting and it's not an initial overlap, so the first thing doesn't hit, basically, that first top thing doesn't hit. Not. It's not an initial overlap. Then we're going to break this loop. Otherwise, the loop. So if we get all the traces going, then we know that it doesn't work. So if we do this, so all the traces are going. So as you can see here, all the traces are going. So we know it doesn't work. we're not having hit. So now if we take this down, right now, go like this, just the first thing hits, so we know that is actually a valid point. Nice. Actually, it works. So here, yeah, because the thing's facing that way. That's weird rotation stuff. It's because the animation, so it behaves weird sometimes. So like, here you go. Now we move it out right. So therefore, you know, boom, it's hitting. So because we have that point there, so if I just go F1, you see that point there that is hitting. And as you can see, there you go. We have something round the corner that we can move to. That point around the corner that we can move to. And we have created a minimum distance, and it starts from this point. There's an offset because of the rotation of the character, but the character rotation will be done properly when we have the animations in it, so that's fine. But we see that we have something that's hitting in the wall coming back to the point of my hand contact. So basically what I did, where I was like thinking before, is here, so this mumbled mess, I'll explain it. Basically, we get the direction that we want to move in, the left or right move, and we say, okay, cool, this is the direction that we want to move in. If we go around the corner, check around the corner, and we say, okay, well, is there a hit that's not the initial overlap coming through that? And we say, okay, well, if there is, so we trace from the direction vector out, so we go where to that yellow capsule was, which is the next spot you'd move to in the wall move, and we get that location plus the capsule, so we move out to that point. So we have that new point. So then we say, okay, well, the start point for this is we want to move this point forward or back. So we add it to the actual forward vector multiplied by a float value that is increased depending on the index and loop, because we want to move it forward. So index 0, it will be that position. Index 1 will be 10 away, 20 away, 30 away, 40 away. That becomes our start. Now our end, therefore, just needs to be the actual location of the capsule, like where we were, moved forward, however far we move forward. So we're basically saying start here, where we are at the end, and then just keep moving these points forward. So that's all that we're doing there. It's very messy though. So let me see how I can clean this up. Yeah, so that's the 2 additions. Okay. And then this is just a downward trace to see if there is a surface that we can actually move on. So yeah, let's now okay, so then if we hit something, that means we have a surface that we can go on. Obviously, one thing that we haven't done or checked is, so basically, I'm saying if we hit something, we have a surface. All we really need to do, because we have a minimum move, so this is how far the wall ledge needs to have something there that we can move around. I keep tracing further away, but that's wrong. It should actually be the opposite. I trace closer to that point, because it can be like you move around and we're here. I just need to have a point there in which to do it. So I don't even need multiple traces. All I need is the one trace that far out to check, is there a point around the corner that we can move to? Because in my ledge trace normally, I just check, okay, is there a point here? Is there a point here? Is there a point here? Around the corner, we should say, is there a point around the corner that we can move to? And that distance can be less, depending, whatever. I'm going to keep it as 50 that way anyway. But is there, or like 30 that way? Is there a point around this corner we can move to? We only need one trace, we don't even need a loop. So yeah, before I was multiplying by the index. So this, I just need to multiply this. That. Move it forward 30. Move both positions forward 30. And then if this is true, return. This is true. Return. And I'm going to do round. Or if this does, if we don't even have a hit, so this doesn't hit anything, that trace around the corner, that doesn't hit anything, we'll just say you can't move around the corner. There's nothing to move around the corner too. So that both returns false. There's only one avenue that returns true. So then in our event graph here, we then say here, print string. Then the last thing we need to do is just get it working for the other side. But since we take the directional vector, I think it would. Because I'm tracing to the point of contact. Because that was the other thing I was thinking about. I was like, would I have to find the inverse direction of the directional vector? But I don't need to, because I'm tracing out in anyway by just setting the end as my current location. So let's just do a debug. So let's check this out now. See what's cracking. And turn corner is true. But then if I do like this, should be can turn corner should be false. then let's do it to this side. It's annoying when you can't actually move on the wall because it's easy. Oh, of course I'm wrong there. Yes, it does it. Oh, it does it regardless what direction. Can turn corners true. So, but if I do this. It's false. Nice, people. Look at that. I've actually got it. Damn it. That's so much chocolate. It's pretty good. Sweet. Spot on. That is spot on. Obviously, we need to look at extending it to be like, okay, if there's something around the corner below you, can you hop around the corner and drop down? But for now, architecturally, let's just make the things until we get the animations back. Because you also need to turn the corner, drop down animation, and we don't have that right yet. Okay, now let's just link the two together. Let's get it so that, so we say can move on ledge. This is going to check, can you turn the corner? Sorry. We can turn. We need to do a branch. So if you can't turn the, if you can't move on the ledge and you can't turn the corner, we're going to say you're reaching. So we shouldn't see the reach. Now this is the only thing. It's the only problem. This angular thing, because obviously the angle. I stream on YouTube sometimes. We stream on Twitch, but I just like to stream on YouTube just to switch it up. Because sometimes people don't have Twitch, so still watch it. Yeah, just change it up. We do both. So can hop. I think turning the corner and grabbing and reaching should both be active. Because I think turning the corner should be something like turning a corner should be triggered. Rather than it being, oh yeah, you're just gonna turn the corner. But I need to, there's a problem. There's a problem I have now. With So this here, you can turn the corner or you can hop, and then you're going to decide which one you want to do. So you can hop and you can turn the corner. So then you'll be able to decide which you can do. This looks nice. This looks really aesthetically pleasing to me, because it's like, oh, look at your traces working nicely. That's really spot on to me. But so nice, that's good. Now, one issue is when I go up like this, it's saying we can turn a corner when, if your direction's like this, you shouldn't be able to turn a corner. So this is obviously an issue in regard to how I do this trace. We could. I could. I could do a check and check the float value of the direction, and depending on that, say allow it to turn to do the turn corner thing. So if you're moving, if it's either left or right, like between like 95 and whatever angle, then you can check for the turning corners. But I don't think that's right. I think we should just keep it with the directional vector doing this thing. How can we? But then that means I'm augmenting my trace, and the trace is working pretty damn good. Okay, I'm gonna pop the toilet real quick. I'll be right back. And then we're gonna fix it. I'm just gonna do the checking the direction thing. 2 secs. Okay. So let's just do it so that we check now the direction in which value is moving. And then let's output that just so I can see what it's doing. Otherwise, see this value. It's the value. And we'll say so basically what I'm doing here is I'm getting the directional movement value. So I create a function that calculates the float value. So it's like minus 90, 90, 0, 180. It calculates the actual like movement value of your input thumbstick. And then I'm saying if it's the absolute value, because they're negatives and positives, we just take the absolute so we know when it doesn't matter which direction. And we say if it's between 85 and 95, so we have a little range, like a threshold, which will mean the angle thing is just like up or down, though, so it wouldn't matter too much. But basically, because I mean, I could do if it equals 90, then you can do it. Which I mean, let me do that. I mean, I'll show you. Equal. If it equals 90, that direction flow. Oh, absolute. If that directional flow absolute value equals 90, then you can do all this stuff. Otherwise, then you do all the traces. Otherwise, you can't move around the corner because your input isn't right, basically. So yeah, that should now get rid of the stupid, annoying up thingy trace. Really weird. So now if it's like this, it's fine. You see now turn corner is false because it's just like it has to be specific to 90. Oh no, that's not why. It's because I don't actually pass that value. This needs a value. That's why I was just giving it 0, so it's always going to be false. So now if I do it, should hopefully. There you go. So there, I can move around the corner, gets rid of it. Move around the corner, gets rid of it. Gets rid of it, moves around the corner, gets rid of it. That works really well. Like that works really well. You can move around the corner. And we're reaching. So we're also going to be reaching too. And so at this point, we're going to go to reaching stage. So it means that you're looking at, you can go around here, but the move around the corner thing is also active. We can look and do a load of different blends, like depending on animation. So this is when it's points like this that we can really start exploring the animations we do, because we can start to be like, oh, he can move around the corner because that's true and that's true. What animation can we blend and like do instead? So we can start doing blend poses for different types. So you can move around the corner. So maybe it's like you're leaning, like you're looking and looking. Like, so you know what I mean? So just like to try and make it feel a bit more authentic and a bit cool. But yeah, we just have a load of traces. So here, you can hop, or you can move around the corner. There you can just move. Hop, 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 move around the corner. And then if we go to the right side, here, you can hop up, but you can't move around the corner. So you can only hop. You can hop up anywhere up there. You can move left. And you can't move around the corner because there's something. Oh no, you can do that. There's a tiny little ledge. Oh no, it's now false. Oh see, so yeah, it just because I'm only doing one trace. Yeah, it's false. Hand turn corner is false. So turn this. Looks like a dream. So wow, I didn't expect to have all that logic done today. That is some good progress actually. So take this off as well. So we've got so far, we've got some hop ledge detection. So we're able to, can we move, so let's say we can run up detection. So we know if we're going to be hanging and we know if we're going to be on the wall like that. We've got, can you move left or right detection? Wall movement, so we do have that. Foothold checks, we have a check to see from the pelvis. Obviously, these can be improved, so I put a star by that. Improve. And then we did the climb up trace, so if we come here, do it there and then press B. Can play a climb up is true because there's no collision, but if I go over here, run up here, press B, it's false because there is a collision, you can't climb onto that. Obviously you can actually, because there's a little ledge there, but come to that. That's the next trace. The next extension is the shimmies. So is it a thin ledge that we can shimmy onto if that's false? So that's the next stage of this basically. If yeah, the shimmy traces. And then put it back here. And climb up. So yeah, so we'll do shimmy traces. We can climb up, but if that's false, we want to go into a shimmy. So that means we're going to have to crunch the capsule because we're going to be in a bit of a tight position. So yeah. And then we did turning corners. So we're up here, we did our traces for that. So we did, if you come around here, we can't turn the corner, it should be false. It doesn't do the corner trace if the movement direction is like a weird angle. This is the hop ledge detection, as you can see. If it's at a weird angle, it doesn't do the movement detection. But if it's a 90, it does do it. And it says false because it's colliding with a wall. We can't, there's no ledge there. But if we go over here, we run up onto this thing here. That's the move direction, that's all good. If we hop up onto this thing here, damn it. Next thing, I can't wait to, Dada's actually got the animations to be done, so that is the next job, to start working with animations. It's the next step. Oh my goodness, I need it just to be on the edge. Okay, there we go. Somebody good, please. This is so annoying. Okay, there we go. So now we see it can't be true because we have a corner point, but we can also hop to the corner too, and we can climb up. So we have all our 3 traces all going. So as you can see here, we have our 3 options. We can climb up, we can hop to the ledge, and we can turn the corner. So nice. Hey Sandon, how you doing? It's only 4 hours later. Hope you're well. Good, nice day. Sound weirdly a lot of the stuff I wanted to do today. I didn't think I'd smack all this out. It's the main thing. I think the next step is I need to get some animations linked up so I can debug better and find all the, because there's a lot of cases that's gonna break this. I'm not seeing them, but I already know there's gonna be. So we need to find all of them. And then once we found all of them, I need to start procedurally, like, we need to calculate curves, the animation to get to that point, and how it's going to move. And then the mammoth task is IK, and that's the long, hard one. So let's get the animations working and get the character moving around on the wall and hopping between places. We'll do shimmies. Because shimmy is interesting, because I think shimmy is actually like a locomotion type. The shimmy is like move normally. Or do we encapsulate? What do you think? Do we encapsulate shimmies and climbs? Because the thing is, with a shimmy, you're not going to transition. You're not transitioning in climbs. You have to resume a climb. It's a different state. It's a locomotion state, really, because you're on your feet moving. You're not climbing anything. I think it's a different. I think we do it in locomotion. We'll just make a note. Encapsulate in locomotion. Okay. I'm gonna get some food because I've been streaming now for 4 hours, but I've enjoyed it. We're going really quick. We've made some good progress actually. So a lot of the logic for the traces, whether or not we can or can't do stuff, and so the Boolean variables from our animation step are pretty good. Next step, like I said, is to sync up animations and then start getting variables set for these points that we want to go to, so that we can start moving the characters around. Because obviously it's doing all the traces, but the character's not moving, so that's the next bit. Cool, let me check this in, and then we will call it a day. I'm coming back, I'm going to stream later actually, so. But I've got a bit of thesis work to do, so I'm going to do some uni work, and then once I've done my uni work, come back on this. 2-3 hours in the room. Awesome, guys. Let me go grab some food. And I'll see you guys later then. I'll be streaming again. Probably be a late night one. Around 12 or 1 in the morning. And I will stream till about 3-4. So if any of you other guys are night owls, do join. Because I'm talking to myself the whole time, but it's nice to see people coming in. So I don't feel so about it. All crazy. Yeah. Sweet guys. Cheers to this. Appreciate it.